Nunez from Global Veterans. Thank you for sending me this Matt Bach shirt. Anyhow, Matt Bach is a vendor of tactical equipment. The leadership over there, they have a lot of experience in the special operations community, and Randy just happens to be a part of that community. So he sent me this pretty neat shirt. It kind of looked like the robot. Is it Star Trek? No, not Star Trek. Star Wars? I don't know. There's a robot. Wally. There you go. It kind of looks like Wally. That's what my kids say, but it's some dude with night vision. Or just a night vision. It looks pretty neat. So thanks for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are interested in attending the best leadership training, make sure you get a hold of Randy Nunez from Global Veterans. If you want to improve work productivity, you want your leaders in your private security company to be a lot more assertive and fair at the same time and competent, make sure that you guys sign up for his course. Send me an email if you're interested to ssundahl@yahoo.com. It's SSUNDAHL@yahoo.com. Actually, I don't even think I have permission to promote this course. Anyhow, I just am. So moving forward, I want to talk about SWAT. Last night, we had like 67 viewers last night. Obviously, my channel is part of kind of like another live stream channel where people make fun of private security. They make fun of law enforcement, and it's just a whole group of thousands of people that they thrive on the live streams because they can comment and censorship is very minimal. So that's one of the reasons why I went up. But typically on an evening live stream, there's probably 20 people, usually cut down to 10 that are real subscribers of this channel that really provide a lot of useful input and they ask some awesome questions. So my videos are for those like 20 or 10, not the 70 or 80 that just come on here to just to have fun and just to poke fun at everyone else. So if you see me going through the live stream and not acknowledging anybody, if you acknowledge somebody, it just attracts more attention to their channels. So for those reasons, don't engage in any of these ridiculous comments. I might not even have to censor them because it actually helps that video with the algorithm. So I might just leave it. So I apologize, guys, in advance. Anyhow, I want to talk about SWAT. I know that there's like 10% of viewers that are interested in law enforcement, and then another good percentage that are just interested in the topics in general. It's a requirement. So it all depends. It used to be where you got to have like 10 years, 5 years of law enforcement experience to get onto SWAT. But those times have changed. I've seen some guys only have like a year and 9 months on, like barely past their probationary status, 2 years on, and get on a SWAT. It's no longer the good old boy club. Well, it still is, and I'll talk about that as well. But those like requirements of having decades of experience, they're gone because there's no applicant pool to pull from anymore. Okay. Also, if you're interested, don't join a department that doesn't have a SWAT team. Even if they say that they're going to have a SWAT team, unless they have it, then forget it. And more the better if they have a full-time SWAT team. If it's full-time and that is your dream job, then go to agency where it's full-time. But I assure you that it's not for everybody. Honestly, if I could go back in time, I would want to be a full-time SWAT operator, but on the condition that I only do it for 2 years. Because you're on call 24/7, unless you have like rotating teams like LAPD has. They can call you whenever they want. You can be at home with your family. I mean, it's almost like a singles only job. You got kids, forget it. You have prior commitments, forget it. You have secondary employment somewhere, just forget it. It plays a toll. Okay, now fitness requirements vary. Miami, the Miami Police Department, Miami-Dade Police Department has a very strict physical fitness requirement, where you have to actually load an operator candidate on your back and run around the track or move around the track with that person. The selection process is very intensive. Most people don't pass. With the larger agencies, I see them trying to wash out those who won't be able to make it. But it's tough, guys. I mean, to have somebody on your back with full armor, and then some of these agencies will require you to hold on a second, guys. Some of these agencies will require you to do pull-ups in full kit. Some of them will require a swim test. I would if there's a swim test, but Miami-Dade PD has a swim test. If you want to be a SWAT operator with BORTAC, the selection process is like 2 or 3 weeks. That's not even the academy training. And it's sleep deprivation. It's kind of like a boot camp style. From what I'm hearing, the Department of Corrections has one of the most difficult SWAT courses, and it's called the CRT. I talked to one of their commanders, and they offer a 10-day course. It's called Operator Number 1. I'm sorry, it's 5 days, right? No, 10 day. It's a 10-day course, and it's like 160 hours. It's 18 hours a day. It's just like boot camp, and their goal is to wash you out. Okay. After that, if you want to, there's another 10-day operator called Operator 2, and again, sleep deprivation, but they do a lot more of the tactical aspects of SWAT. I mean, there's going to be more selective training on week number 2. Some academies will want you to, SWAT schools will want you to run their 1.5 miles, sometimes 2 miles, sometimes 3, sometimes 5. I know that some of you are probably getting older. Some SWAT schools will allow you to get credit based on your age. So if you are like, 50 years old, you get more time on the run. You have to do less push-ups. You have to do less sit-ups. It just all depends on the actual agency. The failure rate is pretty high depending on the agency. But I'll tell you guys, if this is something that you really want to do, you need to keep in mind that you have to do the minimum number of years. Like, you can't just decide one day, okay, I want to be an operator, and then be for a week. It doesn't work that way. You have to do it for a couple of years. And there is something called the Good Old Boy Club in SWAT. A lot of chiefs of police, commanders, sergeants, they all come, not all of them, but a lot of them come from SWAT, because it's a brotherhood. It's a tight-knit community. Even if you're a sister and you're in this brotherhood, it's like for life, right? And they don't want any outsiders, and they don't trust anybody. Now, sometimes if you have a good friend who's an operator, that person will invite you to sometimes training with them, or they'll help condition you for the course. And this is the cool thing, is when they're conditioning you for the course, meaning the academy, that operator's teammates are saying, hey, who do you think is going to be the next candidate? And then that person will say, oh, it'll be Jones. Well, why do you think that? Because we've been training constantly every single week. This guy gets off of work at 0700 in the morning, and we're doing PT 0800 hours, 0900 hours. We're hitting the range, and then again we're doing more calisthenics, and then this dude's pushing like 16 hours a week, and on top of that, he works the next night. He works the same night. Okay. And then all of a sudden, they're going to ask another operator, hey, who do you think? Hey, you got to check out Jones. When his time comes around, check him out, because he's not going to let you down. This guy's very motivated. We took him to the range. I'll be honest with you, he sucked at first, but we're like the 5th week in, and this dude is a nail tacker. Guys, that goes a long way. It goes a long way, because on SWAT, you're depending on each other during life and death situation. and you're depending on that person's skill level. Okay. Now, before I talk about the reality of SWAT, like what would you really expect? Let me just look at the screen real quick and see if I missed anything here. Professional Security Journal has eyes on us. Damn, man, you work like 14 plus hours. You're still awake. Mr. Fawn says, I'm from California. All right, I'm going to have to add a moderator on here. Hold on. All right, so hey, I trust Mike from the Professional Security Journal to help me moderate. So he just got added as a moderator. Mr. Fusion says, doesn't the on-call thing apply to police officers as well? If stuff hits the fan like a riot? Yeah, so police officers, yes. So LAPD, they have what's called Metro Division. If my memory serves me right, Metro Division basically has their SWAT team, also known as D Platoon, and then they have their Metro guys. I'm probably butchering up the the names of that agency. I'm sorry, the names of that specific unit, but forgive me. But Metro Division, they basically supplement SWAT. It's kind of like, you got your Navy SEAL, and then you have your Navy. Oh my goodness, they're not called SWAG. They basically support the SEALs, and they're in the Navy. I forgot what they're called. But basically, they provide a supportive role, and that's what Metro does. When there's riots and situations like that, when there's like a specific threat that needs to be dealt with, SWAT will handle that, but they're supported by D Platoon, who has those riot capabilities. And actually, SWAT teams train for riot situations as well. Like, let's just say somebody needs to be rescued, an officer is cornered, they train in those of tactics as well. Thank you, Mike. You are a blessing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Mr. Fusion says, Sean, do you think it's possible for females to get to the SWAT team? Yes, it's very rare, as females usually don't have the same upper body strength as males. I'm not being sexist. This is reality. Most females cannot do more push-ups than males. Like if you're gonna do more pull-ups, and unfortunately, on a lot of the SWAT testing exams, pull-ups is tested and push-ups is tested, because you have to be able to push somebody off of you with all of your full kit. Sometimes you have to be able to pull yourself onto like a roof or something like that. So I think that's the utility of those parts of the exam. So I'm sorry, that's the utility of that actual skill. You need that type of skill to perform that way. Okay, so now I want to talk about what the reality is, and you guys are going to be kind of on what I have to say about it, because essentially now surround and call out. Maybe for the last 10 years or 20 years, they've been surround and call out. So what's surround and call out? So if a police department calls their SWAT team will set perimeter if they have enough people, so that patrol can go 10-8, that means on duty, they can go back to work. So with smaller departments, what they'll do is they'll surround the house and get on the loudspeaker. This is the blank police department. We have you surrounded. If you're inside, make yourself known. If you don't, we're going to send in the canine. If you don't, we will deploy gas. So the next strategy is, if nobody comes out, it's basically a gas plan. Your chem guy, who's usually chemical agent instructor on the team, will create a plan. one of the doors or breach one of the doors or windows, just in case somebody gets trapped, because you don't want to have somebody trapped in a house full of CS and not give them a way out. So you have to give them a way out. Then you have your breach point. Now your breach point can also be an area where you port. It just depends on the layout of the house. So you give them like a final warning. If you're in California, you do have to give these types of warnings now. You introduce maybe a 5230 Bravo, which is CS, or a pocket tactical. And you might be using some type of instrument to deliver that agent. Not everybody's affected by CS, so then you might have to introduce OC, a combination of OC and CS. And there is a mathematical formula. If you use too much CS, you can deprive that person of oxygen. So it's a skill. It's a skill that a lot of teams have. I mean, you have to have a gas guy. And that's what you do. You just wait until they come out. That's why it's called surround and call out. Okay. Even with the canines, guys, that's also a version of surround and call out. You send in the canines, and hopefully you're listening. If you're listening to this, you're probably thinking about robots. Yes, a robot. So the SWAT will establish a breach point. Once they establish the breach point, a robot will go in there and look for this person. At the same token, a drone. They'll send in the drone, and then they'll approach this person, right? They don't even have to go in. Now, the trouble that these agencies are going to have is if somebody doesn't want to come out, the gas plan didn't work, they're using some methods to avoid the gas. The robot cannot grab like a door handle or something like that, and they can't open a door or a closet. Drones obviously cannot, right now, can't open in there. When that person doesn't come out, I mean, there's no robot right now where you can just grab somebody with like a robot hand and pull them out. You can't. But I will tell you, in Texas, they have a badass system that detonates itself. Yes. So I don't know if you guys know, a couple of years back, there was, I think, 5 Texas police officers who lost their life, and the SWAT commander determined, hey, you know what? We're gonna put an end to this. He's killed too many of us. He sent in a robot. Sorry, guys. Looks like we got disconnected. Guys, that's the reality of SWAT. Surround and call out. And then the reality also is, when you're SWAT, you roll up to the scene. When they see the SWAT truck just roll up on their driveway or on their front lawn, the reality is a lot of them are like, F this, I'm done. And they get out. They just give up. Like, SWAT doesn't even have to make entry. The reality of SWAT also is a police department might call SWAT to handle a barricaded situation, and they're en route or they're just getting their equipment ready, and all of a sudden the person gives up because Patrol did an awesome job. Patrol usually does a great job with de-escalating these situations like that. Like, they're able to get people out of the house before SWAT rolls up. Okay, so that's all I have on SWAT. I know that a lot of you are interested in like police officers and just police careers in general. You want to know how things work. Let me just go to the comments real quick. Oh man, I'm telling you guys, don't mess with Mike today, because he's doing some good work right now. Mike from Professor Security Journal says set containment and wait. Yep. Pepper ball, there you go, or a 40 Mike, which is your 40 millimeters. That's another thing that you can do. Like, you don't even have to walk up to windows anymore. You can just orient a 40 millimeter that has barricade penetration capabilities. It will penetrate through the window, at the same time deliver a small amount of CS or OC. That's the beauty of also, and you don't even have to go in. And then also, guys, I know some watch a lot of movies. You see SWAT teams like barging through doors and going fast through all the rooms. That's Hollywood. That's called dynamic entry. The newer methods are basically deliberate entry, where you're slowing it down. As Randy from Global Veterans would say, you take 2 inches here, another 2 inch another 2-inch, and another 2-inch. It is methodical. It may not be slow. It may be slow, but it's methodical for sure. Mike says Metro is embracing drones. Okay, you're probably referring to Las Vegas Metro. In LA area, when you say Metro, it's basically the elite Metro division, which composes of Metro and SWAT. Nobody really says this ain't Texas. No, it's not Texas. Dang, Mike is like at it today, man. He's doing some street sweeping service. Oh man, this guy's a blessing. Seriously. Method Qualis says this city needs a superhero, right? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for your time. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Comment below. If you have any tips, maybe you were on a SWAT team, maybe you were in some like special operations in the military. Just let us know what the requirements are usually. Specify the unit, and also like where do you see SWAT in 2024, 2040, 2050? Looking forward to it, guys. Take care.